Hello there everybody, it is me XfreezerBunny and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we are building yet another dorm. This one is a little bit different though. I've done a couple of your standard dorms for university. I've done a modern one for Foxbury and a more traditional one for Brightchester, so this time I really wanted to do something that was a little bit more out of the box. Wink wink, see what I did there? So this is the campus capsule. Now these are a set of 4 fully functional tiny homes for your Sims if you want your Sim to go to university without having to deal with the hassle of, annoying roommates. This is the perfect place to move them into. We're also building this in the neighborhood of Gibbs Hill, which is kind of like the town center of the university world. I imagine it also being kind of like neutral territory between the two campuses, so I didn't put any kind of like campus rivalry references in this build. So if you want your Sim to really not focus on any of that and just focus on academics and concentrate on their studies, I think this is the perfect place for them to move into. So this build was really inspired by this recent trend of capsule hotels. Obviously these are individual homes, but that's where the main inspiration came from, and also by one building in particular called the Nakagin Capsule in Japan. It's actually a building that I studied while I was in college. I think I did a report on it actually, but that was really what mainly inspired me for this build, the idea of living in this really tiny micro space. So all of these capsules are 3x4 tiles. In terms of dimensions, it's very similar to an earlier build I did this year, which was the micro living build. At this point, it actually looks a lot closer to my micro living because I used the same windows, but I will change that eventually. Another feature that I really enjoyed in this build is using that coffee table from City Living as like stilts or like legs for this building, because I felt like that just made this look a little bit more kind of like technological, I would say. So the backstory I had for this build is basically that it started out as kind of like a social experiment for, like modern housing developments, but however, it has grown in popularity specifically for the students because of its affordability. So, I imagine that the university department of this university world decided to utilize this new technology as student housing. So that's what we have now. This tiny space for students to concentrate on their studies and to really kind of just focus their attention on what they need to accomplish while they are in university. I did use quite a few packs for this one, not as many as I would normally do. So overall, in the end, I ended up using University, Get Famous, Seasons, City Living, Get Together, and Get to Work. That's for the expansion packs. For the game packs, I used Realm of Magic, Strangerville, Parenthood, Dine Out, and Spa Day. And for the stuff packs, I only used Moschino. Most of the packs that I mentioned, I've only used like 1 or 2 items from. A majority of the items in this build are from University and base game, of course, and also for the landscaping I used a lot of base game and Get Together as well, but I tried to be mindful of the packs that I was using here, but I ended up using some items from packs like Realm of Magic and Strangerville, and honestly I feel like those are really important items, so I just had to use them because there really wasn't any other substitute. Like that door, for example, I honestly think that the only door that can work in that spot is the Strangerville one, so that's the only item I use from Strangerville. Likewise with the window from Realm of Magic, that's the only window I can see working in that spot. And I gotta say, it looks amazing. It kind of low-key looks like a giant washing machine, but we're not gonna talk about that, okay? So yeah, I went for kind of like this really modern, futuristic slash eco look for this build. Obviously we have the solar panels from Get Famous, and yeah, for the interior we're mostly using university stuff. I initially thought I was going to be able to build this in one sitting, but that wasn't the case because I did go through a whole playtesting process to make sure that everything is functional. So a lot of the things I initially thought was going to work didn't, such as this whole setup with having this mini fridge on the edge of this bed right here. I ended up moving that. I also realized that the sim couldn't get onto the bed because that chair on the desk was blocking it, so little things like that had to be moved. But overall for the interior, I just really wanted everything to look built in, kind of like really manufactured and prefabricated. Like in my mind, looking at this interior, it kind of reminds me of like a space, like, you know, capsule type thing, you know, like yeah, something that like astronauts would see. I don't know, that's just me. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with university so far. I'm currently playing my sim self in university. I sent myself to Foxbury, so yeah, because I started with a new game and I didn't have any skills and whatever, and I wanted to take up a drama course, so I ended up going to Foxbury, but that's fine because I actually moved my sim self into the dorm I built for Foxbury, and that's great because I really love that dorm, so I get to live in it as a sim vicariously. But anyway, back to this build. I am just putting in some shelves right here, and I'm just making them look more built in. Notice that I did take out the separation wall that separated the main living area from the bathroom, and I felt like it really wasn't necessary, so I put that divider instead, which is a technique that I love to use using the Moschino wall dividers. I love using that because it feels so realistic and organic, and in my mind it kind of looks a little bit Japanese as well, so I'm using that to separate the bathroom from the main living area. I think it also has some charm to it aesthetically as well. I gotta say, I really enjoy the stuff from Moschino. Like, I don't think I can build without the clutter items from Moschino, and that screen is just so amazing. I love using that. So yeah, I also gotta say props to university for finally giving us items that are appropriate for tiny houses, such as the mini fridge and the shower right there I used in the toilet, but the mini fridge especially because it's such a useful item. You know, it takes up the same amount of space as a counter would, but you can also put like a microwave on top of it or a coffee maker, so it makes it even more functional. At this point, I've already done some playtesting, so I'm just moving things around based off of what I saw was working and what wasn't, and yeah, I'm just adding in some clutter items in this as well. I'm not sure if I said it already, but all of the builds are fully furnished, like all of the capsules in this lot, but this is the only capsule that has the clutter. The rest just has like basic, you know, furnishings, and yeah, I feel like personalizing this one was fine, so everything else I just copied and pasted and got rid of all of the clutter items because I feel like it really isn't realistic to have the same clutter items in these houses. However, I felt like it was pretty realistic to have the same furniture, especially for like prefabricated houses like these, you know, these very manufactured futuristic homes, I would say, would probably have the same furniture. Like I've seen online, like IKEA is making like houses. I'm like, what? This is the future. It feels like the future. So yeah, each unit does have different furniture color schemes, I guess. So I'm just changing them here to kind of give some sort of variety. I'm glad that a lot of the woods match, and also comes in a variety of different tones as well. So there's light woods, there's dark woods, there's blacks and whites. It's great because it makes it a lot more versatile. So yeah, I really enjoyed this build, I gotta say. I had a blast. Usually I'm used to building larger builds, or like medium-sized builds, but once in a while I like to throw in like a tiny house just to challenge myself and to see what I come up with. And I think this would be perfect for university, especially just because, like I said, of all of the new items that we have. If I'm talking too fast, it's because this video is a little bit shorter than my usual video. It's like, what, 15 minutes long-ish? So I wanted to get out a lot of the things that I wanted to say initially. So yeah, I feel like I have said pretty much everything I wanted to. So yes, I gotta say that I love using that window from Realm of Magic. That's probably the most challenging aspect of this build though, just making sure that that window doesn't look like an Art Nouveau historical looking window, because I believe it was supposed to be an Art Nouveau piece, but luckily the back side of the window looks very streamlined and minimalist, so that's actually what I put on facing the outside. And then for the inside I put the part of the window that was a little bit more decorated and elaborate, but luckily I was able to cover that up with some furniture so it doesn't look like it's an Art Nouveau window. I did put some bikes in here. I love bikes. I feel like the biking animation is probably gonna annoy me because it does take a second for the Sims to get on and off of bikes, but overall I really love the biking animation. It's just so much fun seeing the Sims ride around town and enjoying the views of this beautiful world here in university. And yeah, I also put one car in there because I don't know, I just wanted to have a little bit more variety. Plus the car that I chose is from Get Famous and it looks very ecological, if I do say so myself. It looks very eco-friendly. I feel like it would be one of those like electric cars, you know. But yeah, here I'm putting in this sign from Seasons, and also this is where I put the mailbox. So this is kind of like a welcome sign. It's probably like you know, where you would post your notice for like when you're looking for roommates or whatever. But speaking of roommates, that's another one of my favorite aspects of this pack, University. You actually could just not make this into a student housing, because by default this is student housing, it's fully functional as that, but you can also just move in here and just have roommates and just lock your room so that people don't snoop around and use your stuff, you know. So yeah, I'm really happy, and I'm using a lot of the landscaping items here from Get Together, and I just love using the Get Together debug items because they're so good. It's just kind of like my usual landscaping. I also found those plants from Realm of Magic in debug as well, so I'm also just throwing those in. But for the landscaping, I just went for more of like this naturalistic look, because I do imagine this initially as kind of like an abandoned, well, you know, not an abandoned, but like an undeveloped empty lot, and then they just put these prefabricated buildings in here to make use of this, you know, empty space. So yeah, I feel like that made it feel very realistic and organic. So yeah, I just really kind of made this place look run down and kind of like unkempt, if that makes sense. I feel like it does. I feel like it does look like maintenance was lacking, but I like the look, and I feel like if you're a university student, you probably wouldn't be bothered to you know, maintain your lawn or whatever. So yes, I'm just putting in a bench in here because why not put a little functional item over there. And other than that, I think that's going to be it for this build actually. If you want to download this build, it's up on the gallery. All of the hashtags and the links to that are in the description below. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up my commentary right here. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did, you can subscribe and share the video if you want to see more Sims 4 content from me. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye for now. Thank you so much for watching. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.